watching Diecast Breakdown with Chuck Ellis, David Johns, and Mark McHotwheel. So sit back, strap in, and hang on. The breakdown starts now.
Well, hey there, folks. Chuck here, and welcome to Diecast Breakdown. I am joined, as I often am, by my co-hosts, Mr. David Johns.
What's up, everybody?
And Mr. Mark.
Konnichiwa.
We're just going with Mark now. So we're still waiting the white smoke that announces the new
drama is unfolding.
Well, we are so glad that you all are here today. We are going to be joined later by Derek of Honest Diecast, and we're going to be talking lies with Honest Diecast. So when you're live and watching us in the chat, please leave some of the myths and some of the rumors and some of the things that you've heard along the way from your diecast collecting or customizing journey that turned out to be not true at all. And maybe we'll discuss it later on in the show. But before we do that, I need to ask these two gentlemen here, what is exciting you in the world of diecast? David?
Oh, excuse me. I was just getting a sip out of my Diecast Breakdown mug. That's
very fancy. We do have merch, by the way, folks, in case you didn't know.
So let's get serious now, guys. We got serious stuff to talk about here. We're talking about little cars, so let's get serious.
Serious.
You guys, the Hot Wheels Ultimate Challenge wrapped up recently. I am constantly, in case you're watching Rutledge, constantly messaging Rutledge, the host, to see if I can get him on the show. So if you know him, if that's your cousin, tell him to respond to my Instagram. Anyway,
we love you, Rutledge. The floor is lava.
That's right. Anyway, the show was cool.
Order against you.
It got better. You guys know it really caught on. A lot of people got into it at the end of it there. Throughout the rest of it. The winner was a really cool Skyline. How about that, Mark? And Mattel Creations has got their Hot Wheels version of the winning vehicle up for pre-order now. $20. It'll go out next year, so it's going to be a little bit of a wait, but it is a pretty cool piece of show history. First ever season on what is sure to be a long-running show. How about these motorcycles from CM Models? We don't show enough motorcycles. We don't show enough crazy stuff on our show, or maybe we do, and I'm just not remembering it. But I do like these motorcycles from CM. So these are diecast. They come with figures. They come with lots of detail. Look at the even down to the chains. Really cool stuff from there. Look for those online. You can search those. I believe you can probably order those online as well. I'm going to now go, Chuck, if we could get the camera on me. We've got a new brand alert. We've got a brand called Metal Speed Zone. And I received some samples from the maker recently who wanted us to just give them a look. And I got to say, I'm not unimpressed at all. These are really pretty cool little models. So they aren't necessarily all true 1/64. They kind of jump around in scale. They're mainly that size that we're talking about when we think about Hot Wheels and Matchbox, but you get a lot of front end detail. Look at the lights. You've got a license plate on here. This is a BMW M4, I believe. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Z4. It's just some pretty cool stuff from a company called Metal Speed Zone. So keep an eye out for those. In fact, you'll probably see a lot of those on the internet, wherever you're looking at diecast as well. So as I have stumbled through the A block, Chuck, Mark, that is what I'm excited about. Let's hear from Mark now.
Marky Mark.
Mm-hmm.
And
I guess we're the funky bunch.
Bunches.
Just Mark.
Yeah. What's up, funkies? We got a couple upcoming diecast shows. One's more of a car show, but it does have diecast related things as well. But we've got the Weekend of Wheels next weekend in Santa Clara. And then we wait a couple more months. Then 10/7 is JCCS in LA, one of the biggest classic Japanese car shows in existence. Really cool show. I'm not sure if I'll make it this year, but definitely going to be there next year. So look forward to that. If you're down in that area, I'm up in Washington, so I'm not super far away, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it. But it's a really cool show. It's got a lot of the cars that you collect as diecast. There, you'll see the real ones there. In fact, you'll see like the legitimate real ones that have been made into diecast cars. Most of all those cars are going to be there, including I think Peter Brock's going to be there. We've got I think Fireball Tim there, and we've got I think Sung Kang will be there with his Z. There's going to be a lot of like cool cars, cool people there. So definitely worth checking out. And if you pick up too many cars or some cars that you don't know what to do with, then you can donate them to D-Dog Diecast Day of Giving, October 14th. So we're looking forward to that. And we are going to start tallying up some cars probably pretty soon. Get people excited about, who's had the opportunity to give some cars away already. But our goal this year is 20,000 cars. I think that's very obtainable. And in the future, I would like to get up into the hundreds of thousands for cars donated, and maybe we can hit 1 million day.
Why not?
Anything's possible. Why not? Because why not?
We got the best community to do it. I don't doubt it.
There are 15 million Hot Wheels collectors in the world.
Yep.
So
if everyone donates one car,
number.
That's
15 million cars.
Billion cars, if my math is right.
Yes, trillion cars. All right. All right. Well, cool.
All I know.
All righty. Well, I have a few fun things. First of all, if you follow Motor Trend at all, you know that they like to do these little roadkill exclusive cars. And this year they're doing Stubby Bob, which is a very cool Ford truck that's been dualied and shortened and covered in rust, as most of Freeburger's stuff is. Very cool looking setup, and you get the car for free when you sign up for the year of Motor Trend, which is a pretty tempting offer. It's a cool channel. Their user interface is a little to be desired at times. I think it's gotten a little better, but shout out to Justin Ellis for bringing this one to my attention. It's a very cool little car, and I think a unique casting. I haven't seen that one before. So at least the Ford front end looks different. The rest of it obviously is completely custom. Also found this little vendor recently, Wetwork Customs, which is just down the road from me in Sanford, Florida. They're doing 1/24th scale and 1/64th scale. I think they're doing a few other scales with laser cut kits. These things are kind of becoming more common, which is an awesome thing. This is a couple of their kits. They have a mechanic's garage set, and that garage set actually includes, both of those include garage doors that are actually hinged and will open like regular garage doors on channels, which is super cool. Their prices range $100 to $150 for a kit, but very well detailed, very responsive. When I've been talking to them about ordering stuff from them, I'll be doing a full unboxing review of one of their kits when it arrives to me. Another cool vendor that I found, courtesy of our guest who's about to come on, Mr. Derek at Honest Diecast, Greedy's Designs. I've been in touch with him, and he is sending me his new product. He is a very new vendor doing resin 3D prints, and this is his first product offering. It is a kit that will turn your lowly Hot Wheels Datsun 510 into a screaming gasser, as all 510s are meant to look. So I was intrigued by it, and Derek seemed to dig it. So I'm giving him a shot, and he's going to be sending me some more of his stuff to look at coming up. And one other thing that we forgot to mention, David, if you want to talk a little bit more about
Oh,
this, we
yeah,
are
yeah,
having
yeah.
a Maisto build off. And David, you want to give us the deets on that?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Guys, former guest of the show, Eddie Castro. He is head of the art department, the art director for Maisto. We met him at the Las Vegas Diecast SuperCon. Absolutely the coolest guy on the planet. Um, Artist, car designer, car guy, diecast guy. He has volunteered to be our guest judge. So what we're going to do is this. This is going to be Maisto castings. It's got to be a Maisto product. I think any Maisto is going to work. Maybe we even go any size, guys. I don't know. This is how much we've thought about the details of this contest, but it is an evolving contest. We're going to get more details out a little bit later this week, I hope. But that's the gist of it. We're going to pick Maisto cars up. We're going to show them some love. We're going to go to Walmart, wherever. We're going to get them. We're going to customize them. It's got to be Maisto. Eddie's going to help us judge them. You guys are going to send us pics of your customs, and we're going to have a Maisto build off. And I think it's cool. I don't think I've seen this anywhere else. So maybe we'll do this with other brands in the future, but had to start with Maisto. Eddie's such a cool guy. And he is also said that Maisto is going to be willing to put up some prizes for the winners. So start
Tube
working
stocks.
on them. Start thinking about the ones. You'll be surprised when you go look at that box of Adventure Force at Walmart and look at all the different types of cars. You've got Lotuses, you've got Lamborghinis, you've got Porsches, you've got everything out there. They got all the licenses. They're really doing some good stuff over there, and we're going to showcase them. And I want you guys to make them look as good as you can. Let's put some real riders on them. I don't know, just go crazy. And like I said, we will have more details. We'll put out a post, and Mark and I will share them on our channels as well as Diecast Media Network here. But keep an eye out for that. That's going to be really soon. I want to get this thing. I want it happening pretty quickly. So,
yep. So watch this space for that coming up. And that's it for the news. If you've got any news you want to share, you can email diecastbreakdown@gmail.com. If you know of something coming up, an event, an update, a product, or a vendor that you think we should know about, please let us know, and we'll shout it out on a future episode of the show. And before we go to our first break and bring on our guest, I want to give our small channel shout out this week to Full Custom Diecast. His link is in the description below. Very cool customizer that only has 430 some subscribers. So go show him some love.
Yeah, let's get those numbers up.
And that's it for this section of the show. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to have Derek of Honest Diecast. So stick around.
We'll be back with more Diecast Breakdown after this word from our sponsors. If you have a favorite Diecast channel with less than 700 subscribers and you'd like to see them highlighted on a future episode, email us at diecastbreakdown@gmail.com. The Diecast Media Network store is here. Wear your passion with pride, featuring designs from Diecast Breakdown, flying Valiant builds, plus unique designs inspired by diecast culture from Justin Ellis. Visit tpublic.com/Diecast Media Network now.
Hey, this is Champion DJ K, and you're watching Diecast Breakdown.
And now back to Diecast Breakdown.
All right. Well, we are back, and look who is in the studio with us today. It is once again Derek of Honest Diecast. Derek, thank you so much for being here today. We are so excited to have you.
Hey, pleasure to be back, guys. And finally, Mark is in the building as well, so it feels complete.
All here.
I like it.
We got a full court press going on. And so Derek's been on the show a few times, at least once now. I can't remember if it was more than once, but it was definitely once. We did that really cool Hollywood diecast shootout that nobody liked. And I liked it. Well, it was fun. It was. I wasn't even there. There were some disagreements on the choice. I believe it wasn't it the Fast and Furious Porsche that won. But yeah, it was
I think it was
fun.
Brian's R34 Skyline.
That's
maybe.
right, Brian's R34 Skyline.
Yeah.
So
That was good-
that's why
good
Mark was
TV.
happy with the
Brian,
the
you got a
ending.
heavy foot. I know it's club.
I liked it. I thought it was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
it was a lot of
but-
fun. So so we got another game kind of topic that we've got that we were going to talk about. But before we get to that, how you been, Derek? What you been working on?
It's been good. Been looking around. Still not much to find, but been focusing a lot more on customs, and overall been a lot more happy with it. So yeah, looking forward to cranking out a couple of new vids for customs, and just keep rolling through it.
Yeah. I know when I was on your show a little while ago, we were kind of commiserating over the joy being out of the hunt and drifting more towards the custom side and more of the high end side. So it's been nice to see. I've watched, like I said in the first section of the show, stuff like your review of Greedy Designs and his 510 gasser kit, which looks super cool. I'm very excited to get it. There it is. Look at that. For the folks that are watching, it's a beautiful golf livery. I love the finish on that. That finish is so wheat, if you don't mind me
thank
saying
you.
so.
Thank you. I thought it was pretty fitting. I owed Eddie from Simple Customs a gasser, and I was sitting there thinking, man, what would I make him? Everybody's done a 55, everybody's done a 64, and I was really thinking about it. And then I started talking to Josh from Greedy, and I was like, that's going to be the one I'm going to make him, I think. And he's just going to have to like it.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. It's beautiful.
Derek, I love this.
It is a work of art. And I've been talking with Mr. Greedy. He is a super nice dude. He's really like just getting started. So folks, please check out his link is in the description. It's just a Facebook page right now, and he's just taking PayPal through Facebook Messenger, but he is super responsive, and he's got at least 6, maybe 8 kits he's working on, and they're all really wild choices. Like, I mean, he's talking like the 41 Ford is a pretty Ford truck is a pretty common choice, but he's talking like Nissan Maximas and Datsun 620 pickups, and so it's really cool. But yeah, I appreciate you joining more the customizer fold here. It's a fun thing. It's really, I think, while it is also an exercise in frustration, it is a wonderful Zen part of the hobby to really kind of get in and get involved with the cars.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. And it's a whole nother addiction too. A lot of people don't understand that, but they have to be prepared. Once you start drilling cars and stuff, you're going to pick up a totally new addiction that's related to what you were used to, but totally different at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of addictions and different over obsessions, something that's just been kind of on my mind lately, it just kind of hit me earlier today when I was thinking about what we would be talking about. I'm on a lot of the Facebook groups, including the Honest Diecast Facebook group, which I'm sure everybody who's watching right now is already on. But you get these questions that come up over and over again, and these misconceptions that come up over and over again on the Facebook groups of people who are just getting started. And most of the time people are nice. They could certainly be nicer on some of the Facebook groups. But since we got Honest Diecast, let's flip things around and talk about the lies, the misconceptions, the things that people think about when they start collecting or start customizing that they think are true or aren't really true, or the stuff like the stuff that clouds our minds, the stuff that can hold us back. And let's dispel a few of those myths. So
Absolutely.
So I was going to start with, first of all, a lot of people think that eBay is kind of the go-to place to go to buy cars, especially if they're buying stuff that they can't find locally. And I think that's a very popular misconception. It is certainly one of the most popular places to buy a diecast, especially 164. But there are a lot of other places out there that might be better. And Mr. David Johns, I'm going to let you start with this one because I know you have bought from just about everybody.
I have. I am cheap, guys, if nothing else. So I am constantly looking. A lot of times if you get on to an online marketplace and you've never been on there before, you can get a heck of a deal, sometimes even free for your first offer. But I'll put it out there. I'll just tell you guys where I've bought stuff, and then we can kind of go off of that. I have checked out AliExpress. I know there's a lot of buzz or scuttlebutt about that site. We've talked about Temu in the past. That's a new one. A lot of people buy on Mercari. Derek is familiar with Whatnot, a new place where a lot of people are buying diecast. I haven't even bought anything there yet, so I'm curious to hear y'all's opinion on that. But those are some of the places that I've bought, and thankfully, I'll just tell you this straight up right now, I haven't been burned yet on any of the places I've gone. I know it's coming. We all know we're going to get burned eventually, but I haven't been burned. So if you worry about one place being just absolutely rampant with scammers, that may or may not be the case. So I'm curious to hear you guys and your thoughts on that as well.
Derek, you want to go?
Yeah. Yeah, Chuck, you're absolutely right. I have pretty good experience with Whatnot. I think Whatnot is probably the purchasing future of diecast. I just think it's the most simple, easiest, convenient, not just for the buyer, but for the seller as well. Their policy as far as protection policies versus buying and selling is pretty top notch. Label print on demand. It's just easy. It's easy for everybody, and it's a live auction. You can actually see what you're bidding on, and if that's not what you get, then you can raise a stink and usually get it taken care of. Whatnot has a pretty good team of customer service representatives and stuff that take care of stuff like that. I just think that that's the most simple and easiest right now. But I definitely agree with David. AliExpress, Lord knows that we've heard Don from Diecast do talk about that place for a long time, and he's sworn by it. So I think that's a great alternative as well, not just for cars but for like cases too. I see a lot of really nice custom cases and dioramas and stuff on there. And then Temu, obviously one of the newest players, and they mean business. I don't know about you guys, but every time I watch a YouTube video or something, I see a Temu commercial. So definitely something to look out for Temu.
Derek, would you mind real quick just on Whatnot, if people haven't checked it out? You said it's an online auction. I mean, is that literally the only type of selling that people are doing? It is online streaming auction, or can you just kind of go through and pick out stuff like a store?
Yeah, so they incorporated that a while ago. Pretty good amount of time after I hosted my last show myself, which was just a collection clear out during my move. But they have incorporated a store shopping experience, so you can look up your favorite seller on there and browse their store. Okay. So instead of the sellers having to upload a new store every single time they go live, which was a big pain in the butt, now they have a permanent one, and you can go through there and you can buy merchandise when they're not even streaming. Which is pretty nice. And one thing to mention too is a lot of diecast shops are on there. You're not just dealing with a whole bunch of Joe Schmoes on there. A lot of diecast shops go on there and sell. Everybody knows that Lamley is on there, who's gotten really big into the selling. People like Greg from JVK Toys is on there. He's one of my faves. I mean, not only does he carry really good premium diecast, that's a specialty. He does carry Hot Wheels and Matchbox, but premium 164, which would be right up your alley, David, and a lot of people switching to that. Definitely worth looking into for, if they want that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, great information.
Yeah. Mark, how about you? What are your takes on buying stuff? I know you're not exactly looking at buying a bunch of stuff right now, but your opinions on buying online.
I tend to stray towards dark alleys. white
Nice.
vans,
Here we go.
Russian guys.
Yeah.
Got the good diecast like Chinese Passats and stuff like that.
Windowless vans as well.
Windowless vans, stuff that you can just peek into. Not sure what's in there.
Yep.
We'll stop there. But we no, I haven't ever bought anything from AliExpress, whatnot. I think I started the process to like sign up, but I haven't finished the process because I was gonna get rid of some stuff for charity on there. So we'll give that a shot and see how that goes. I'm sure I can ask Derek about how that works and all that. I've been doing kind of a garage sale just out of my house for the last couple of weeks to raise money for Driven Dreams. So that's been going really well because it's just local collectors coming through, meeting a lot of cool people. Had some people come through today, and they are dropping cars off for the cause too. So it's really cool thing just to meet people, give them good deals. Pretty much, I'm selling most stuff just what I paid for it. So, with tax and everything. So, and not even, counting the gas and all the time that goes into finding these cars, as we all know, which adds up really quick. So eBay's been pretty decent. You're going to get ripped off for the most part for basic type cars that, cars that are already out right now. You're going to pay too much for those. Sometimes I've found some really awesome gems. I mean, for example, I think I found one of these on eBay with the 510 down here. Something like this should go for $400. I think I picked it up for about $35 on eBay. Yeah. So, I mean, because of the rarity factor, though, you can't find these anymore. I've actually never seen them in my life. I knew they existed, but I've never seen one. So, and then I got another one that was on Mercari, and I also picked this one up. It's a different, it's a mirrored screen. It's just over here. This is it's got a different car. I mean, they're two different packs, but you can find some really cool stuff. But for the most part, to build a collection on eBay or Mercari, you're going to pay way too much money. So it's, for me, I use it just to kind of keep my eye out. I'll type in Datsun 510 on both platforms, and you can also save your searches to where it like shows you what 510s are for sale, because that's realistically that's all I'm collecting now for most cars. But Hot Wheels, I'm kind of done collecting a lot of their newer stuff. I'm just only collecting 510 stuff and their older stuff that's really obscure. But I've, as a lot of you know, I've gotten more so into premium cars. Thanks, David.
Yeah,
so,
thanks,
and
David.
I just,
you're responsible for my addiction too. So
yeah,
thank you.
and he's ruining so many lives as we speak. I got a guy today into
That's
some
my
premium
mission.
cars, and he's ruined. I was like, good luck out there. And walking away with some premium cars. So but in theory, to each their own. A lot of people like the cheaper cars, but when you start to count how many you acquire, hundreds, thousands of them, you're not saving any money when you can buy something beautiful. I mean, I'm talking top of the line, most beautiful premium cars you could possibly hope for, like this Chinese Passat right here.
Look at
getting
that.
to be by my
Say it again. Say it again.
Chinese Passat. Yeah. So you start picking up some of these bad boys.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that right there. And
That Porsche.
those are good display pieces. You can actually put them up on the wall instead of putting them in a bin and not looking at them for 2 years. Pulling them out occasionally and blowing the dust off of them.
You hold it up to your ear, you can hear the ocean.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my pillow. I use it as my pillow at night, Chuck.
Hello.
Very nice.
Hello. Hello. So yeah, it's cool to get into the premium stuff, and of course you can find some decent deals on eBay and Mercari for the premium stuff. But the things you have to be aware of, if you buy something like one of these Kaido House cars, there's a good chance somebody already got in here and looked at it or took a really good look at it, maybe resealed it or something. So I would be leery of buying these kind of cars on eBay and Mercari unless it's like a really reputable seller and they have like a really, I always look at scores. So when you're looking on Mercari and the person has never sold anything before, or they have a really poor rating, don't buy from them at all. It's gonna bite you. And same with eBay. If they have like a 95% feedback, they should have in the upper 90s, 98, 99 if they're selling properly and shipping things properly. So stay away from the sellers that have poor ratings, because it'll get you.
Good advice.
That's true for like AliExpress and Temu as well. You know, because those are basically, I think a lot of people don't realize those are platforms for vendors to post their own things. It's not a direct manufacturer to Temu to whatever. It's like an eBay for new things that are based out of, China. So you can see the same exact vehicle or accessory kit or model listed by 8 or 10 different sellers. So, don't go for just that first one that you see. There might be a better price, and B, that person might not be the most reputable person to buy from. So that's another very important thing to keep in mind. And I think while we're on this vein, another myth that is very popular, especially among collectors of other scales, is that premium diecast is not great by comparison quality wise. People think of premium diecast and they might think of nice Hot Wheels or Johnny Lightnings. No offense against Johnny Lightnings, but they're thinking about the stuff that they can find in Walmart, and that's the best 164 has to offer. And I think we all know, and everyone watching right now knows, that's definitely not the case. But for beginners, for people who are new and still have a lot of misconceptions in their head, or they collect 1/18th scale or 1/25th scale and they think, oh, well, there's nothing to offer. I'm sure y'all have differing opinions on that. Mark, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, there's like I said, with Hot Wheels, I'm straying away from them a bit, because even I do enjoy some of their premium stuff. I think Derek sent me this Porsche right here. So it's really a beautiful car. It's one of their better premiums that they've come out with lately. But then, you get into this stuff like I've showed before, the Tarmac Works BRE. You get this stuff like this that comes with a little license plate frame, and it comes with the car with just stupid amounts of detail. And Hot Wheels can't really touch what, like, you start looking inside of this car. Yeah, zoom in there, Chuck. Get in there. So yeah, it's
so close. Look at it, sir.
Look at it, sir. So yeah, you get these cars and down to the exhaust pipe, the shift knob, the wiper blades. It's just crazy. So you gotta buy one of these yourself. Something like this without a signed one goes for around $40. And I think this one, like signed by John Morton, the racing legend himself, was probably $120, which is awesome for a car. This is 95 of 100, so there's only 100 of these made that are signed. So yeah, you start getting into that kind of stuff, which is a true collectible. I mean, it's to have something that's signed by the driver, is pretty amazing. But yeah, I think I've pretty much strayed to a lot of these, premium cars, especially you got your little Kaido House cars, and they're pretty high quality, way more so than some other premium brands out there. You get a lot more bang for your buck. So yeah, I think that's a major misconception if people are, thinking that, if that's not just like a made up thing by Chuck. I think he just made that up. But
right.
No, I think I do. I mean, a lot of people get into collecting the cheaper cars thinking that it's cheaper, because this car's $1, it's $2. But when you walk out of the store, like Derek and I did, the first cars he bought were with me, and I think, would you buy around 45 cars, something like that?
That was like my first 30 or 32 cars, thanks to you.
30.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's, I don't know, $40 or whatever, and then from there you're walking out with bags full of dollar diecast, and now they're almost a couple bucks a piece, and the quality's definitely gone down with a lot of the Hot Wheel stuff, the cutting costs. So perfect time to switch over to premium, people. Right, David? Chinese Passats.
Yep. I think that's a good point, especially when you think about the and I'll turn this over to David because David is Mr. Quality over quantity here, but it can be so easy to just buy $1 car here or a $5 car there or whatever, and it piles up and you end up with a bunch of cars that you kind of sort of like, and they're all just sitting in bins as opposed to resting under your head at night on your bed.
Yeah.
No judgment there, Derek. That's whatever helps you sleep at night.
Don't judge me, Chuck. Don't judge me.
No judgment. This is a judgment-free show.
I use this as a snuggie.
But David, you've mentioned this before, and maybe we'll mention it again. But you actually kind of rethought your entire collection not too long ago and went for this more quality over quantity model.
Yeah, I did. How many of us have jammers full of 18 different variations of that Avant wagon from Audi, from Hot Wheels, and they all look amazing. But to me, I wasn't getting anything out of it by sitting there looking at a jammer in a closet that had all those. So I didn't get them out and look at them. So I just chose, and this is me, my personal decision was to buy stuff that number one, I was going to open, I was going to put it on a shelf, and I was going to look at it. I was going to enjoy it. I was going to feel it in my hand. That's just what works for me. But going back to the original question, the myth of these premiums not really being that much better in quality, they are. They're, I think the premium market really kind of started or became more mainline with some of the Kyosho models that came out 25 years ago. And those collectors over there, man, they insist on absolute replicas in their miniatures. It's not just diecast cars. It's a lot of stuff over there. Look at that. I mean, it's a different level, and it is from collectors demanding a higher quality than what we are accustomed to here in the States. So I could talk about it for an hour, Chuck, but we're not going to do that.
Yep, I believe you.
All right, Derek, your thoughts?
Well, I got to agree with David. The premium 164 definitely has the quality. For $20, $25 investment into Tarmac or a Kaido. For those of you that haven't done it, try it, and then hold it up to a similar Hot Wheels model and tell me that that's not quality. Because that's it. I saw the comment. I can't remember who it was by about domestics. So one thing we have to remember is that a lot of these companies are starting to get really big. Tarmac is obviously getting much more recognized. So is Mini GT. So when they come out with their initial releases, they're going to go for what grabs the market so that they can immediately become more successful and more relevant on the market. But if you look at Mini GT, look at their catalog. They're starting to come out with a lot of Mustangs. They're starting to come out with a lot of Ford GTs, stuff of that nature. Maybe not old school classic domestic muscle that people are desiring right now, but it'll happen. And one thing you can do is you can ask Chuck, David, or Mark. These companies listen. So if you have recommendations, definitely write them and definitely make it known what you would like to see. And then you can probably bet your last dollar that it's going to happen within the next year, that they'll probably come out with something like that for what you're looking for. But the reason why you see so many JDM, so much JDM stuff, so many, a lot of European stuff, those seem to be like the two larger markets right now at the moment, is just because they're trying to make a name for themselves and become relevant, which they have certainly done. So just give it some time. And like I said, write these companies, get in contact with them, let them know what you would like to see. And bet on it happening sooner than later, probably, most likely.
And, that's how Mini GT, I mean, they rolled out a Lincoln Capri this past year, and it was directly related to what Derek's talking about.
Yeah, I saw somebody earlier was saying they were looking for a Lincoln Zephyr. So write Tarmac Works, write Mini GT, go on their Instagrams. All these companies, when we've had them on and asked them, how do we get your attention? And they're like, Instagram is usually the best way to get a hold of them, or they'll have a contact us form on the site. But the guys who are doing the work are usually on Instagram as well. But yeah, I agree. That is a misconception that is changing, that it is all JDM stuff and Chinese Passats, but it is not all Chinese Passats. It is there is the Kaido House Silverado is coming out. There's
Really cool.
other more domestic stuff in the works. Tarmac Works did their Dodge van that I really liked. So it is coming, and I have a lot of positive hopes for the mid card brands. Like Auto World has really stepped up their game. Greenlight is doing some really cool stuff, and Greenlight just changed hands, so I'm hopeful that is going to lead to even more great stuff from them as well. And those are the ones that you can find on the shelves here at your local Walmarts and stuff. And those cars are looking mighty sharp for a very reasonable price. That Chrysler Conquest that Auto World just came out with is just fantastic. And I think we've talked at least 10 times about the Johnny Lightning 1980 Monte Carlo that David and I love so much. But
those Kaido squares, I'm not a square body collector by any means of any stretch.
Do they look good?
But those are fantastic, and I'm
so
seriously
good.
considering about picking them up.
Yeah, it's rare, not rare. It's actually getting more and more common that you look at one and you go, wow, is that a real car? And that Silverado, it's pretty dang close. Like it just, they got the proportions so right on that thing.
So good.
I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice, Derek, if you didn't buy one.
I think you're right. I think you're
so.
absolutely right.
Yes, you need your other pillow. You got the one for your head, and then you got the one that you can snuggle as well. So you got the big snuggleable Silverado
pillow. You got the lengthy pillow, and then the shorter stack pillow on top. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. So, but yeah, all right. So those are some of the myths and misconceptions that came to my mind. David, you got any on your mind that you would like to bust while we're here?
I want to hear from Derek. I want to hear from our guest.
That's true.
I want Derek to assure every collector out there that you don't have to be there with a bag of donuts in your hand to give to the worker at Walmart to ever have the hope of getting a super treasure hunt. And you don't have to be there right when they open.
Donuts.
Maybe is that a tease for the break, or do you want to keep on going, Chuck?
Let's keep on going.
All right. So
we
Derek,
got a good thing going.
if we want supers, man, are we gonna have to do some shady stuff, or are they still out there for the hunters?
They're still out there, but I'll agree with everybody else in the community who has spoken up about this. They are much harder to find this year. Absolutely, 110%. So if I was anybody out there hunting, whether you're trying to pallet dive a Walmart at night or go there first thing in the morning, don't hold your breath to find a super. Just collect what you like. Focus on collecting what you like. Don't worry about the chases anymore. It's just become way too hard with how many people have gotten into this community, which is great. I'm not talking bad about that at all, but it is going to make it harder to find stuff that you're out there looking for, specifically chases. So just collect what you like. Go with what you're after. Don't go in there with just the golden flame on the mind. Go in there. Hey, I want Porsches. I'm hoping to find some Porsches this morning. I want 510s. I'm looking for 510s this morning. Take that approach. Collect what you like.
And can you just briefly, add maybe that it doesn't hurt to be nice? Sometimes if we're nice to the clerks, sometimes they help us out. And with that being said, we help them back. We peg the box for them. Derek, you've had a lot of success just being nice when you go into these stores, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's something I've preached since day one. Just take care of people, and maybe they'll take care of you back. Offer to fill them out. A comment card. Target has comment cards. You go to the customer service desk. Fill it out for them. Don't ask them if I fill out a comment card for you, will you help me? Don't do that. If they go out of the way to help you, just go do it. And one thing I would recommend on that note, give it directly back to the employee, because sometimes they don't always get them back. You'll give it to the person who's working customer service, and they'll never see it sometimes. So just a little recommendation there. But take care of people, and maybe you'll be taken care of as well. That's all we can do, is just be nice to each other and hope for the same in return.
Amen.
So, I would also say one of the myths I like to bust is that there are no more good used deals out there. You're not going to be finding cool stuff at the thrift shops or the flea markets and stuff, and that's still very much not true. There are a lot of really cool finds that I've gotten out there from stuff that's even stuff that's only a year or two old, that's still very reasonable. That's only $2 or $3 that I would have considered buying for $5 or $10 on eBay, and then found later for $1 or $2. And I just had a video where I shared I got 2 24 packs of vintage Blackwall and Redline Hot Wheels. They were in rough shape. They weren't in the best shape, but they were red lines for less than $1 a piece. And I got the case as well. So you can't argue with that, So OCD Garage says, I like going to Goodwill to buy project cars or even just to open cars for my collection. Yesterday, you got a couple of good ones. So,
nice.
Shout out to OCD Garage there. And we've gotten a lot of really, really great comments here. Thank you, everybody, for sharing yours. If you have any myths that you would like to bust and you're watching live right now, please leave them in the comments below. Another one that I think all of us can attest to is people who say, well, I want to start a YouTube channel or I want to start posting on Instagram, but I don't have the gear. I don't have the wherewithal to make videos on YouTube. And I think that's one of the biggest myths of this hobby is the people who are going, oh, well, I'm not ready yet to start making videos. And it's like, folks, if you got a phone in your pocket or you're watching this on your phone right now, you're there. There is no reason to start or to not start. And, people are very worried that their first videos are going to suck. And yeah, they probably are.
They will.
They will. And
probably your first 100.
Yeah. And we've
that's
said
just
that
yours.
before. Usually that this is something that I learned in, I went to a conference specifically on content creation, and Pacifically, it wasn't the Pacific time zone. That was how I ended up at the Cubbyhole in Phoenix. I was at a content creator expo, and the YouTube specialist was like, look, man, just assume your first 100 videos, those are your learning videos. And, those are the ones that you're going to build on. And, we mentioned Don earlier from Diecast Dude. He doesn't own a computer.
Yeah, that's
he does
wild.
All of that on his phone, and he's got, what, 18,000, 19,000 subscribers. It's
try triple that.
Try 1 billion.
1 billion subscribers. But yeah, so it's not about the production quality. It's not about the amount of hours that you put in your videos, unfortunately, because I put a lot of time in my videos. It's you've got to just get out there, share what's interesting about you. People are going to like what you bring to the conversation, and they're gonna stick around. And another big misconception is, oh, well, I'll put my video out there and nobody will like it. And yep,
that's the only video editor I've used my whole time on YouTube is InShot.
Radar.
So
yeah, my radar.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got to make sure the weather's right when you're going to. That's another important myth too. Make sure the weather's good when you go out there, because if you get struck by lightning while you're trying to find a super treasure hunt, you're going to have a bad time. Yeah, so get that focus back. So yeah, that's another great thing too, is that we live in a time where you don't have to have a fancy computer or fancy editing software to put out a good thing. We're using a platform right now, StreamYard, that is essentially free, the basic package. And so you can learn that. There's lots of tutorials out there. There's lots of opportunities. Yogi, the diecast customizer, still shoots his stuff on a phone. And he has an editor now, but for a long time he was just editing his stuff on his phone. And he just, kept doing it and kept doing good work, and it pays off. It takes time. It's taken us, 3 years to get here from when I started this channel. But if you're persistent and you put out interesting stuff and you engage with the community, you'll get rewarded for it. So
Can we get Chuck? Can we go back to one thing that you
Sure.
said earlier? Like when you were talking about going to vintage or thrift stores, Mark had a great example of those places. They don't know diecast, and why would they, right? So whoever sold Mark that 9-pack that was worth 10 times what he paid for it, that's a good example of like what you can find in Goodwill or Salvation Army or whatever. And to that point,
Back alleys.
yeah, to that point, you got to know your stuff. Like you gotta be on there shopping. You gotta like look around and see what things are going for. And if you think something looks pretty good, pull out that phone and see what it's going for on eBay. I do that all the time. And if it's a deal, it won't be there tomorrow. That's the kind of thing that I live by when I go to those thrift stores. If I see something and I'm even mildly interested in it, you got to get it. It'll be gone the next day. But like Mark found those deals because he knew what those cars were worth, and they were way underpriced.
Mark's always been a good bargain shopper.
Yeah.
He probably beat them down.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah. There's two different kinds of folks out there when it comes to these. There's the ones who don't know what they have, and there's the ones that run to eBay and find the most expensive version of that car and think that theirs is worth that much. I was at a architectural salvage place that just happened to have some diecast scattered around on a table with no price on them, and I was like, what are these? What do you want for these? They were older black walls. One of them was a Captain America RV from Hot Wheels, and but you could barely tell, like the paint was barely on it. It had plastic broke off of it, and the guy's like, well, let me look these up. And I was like, oh no, I'm not going to buy any of these.
I'm out.
So he comes back with, well, one of these is on eBay for $250. This Captain America one's very rare. And I was like, no, it's not really. No, it's not. But thanks for looking those up for you. You should probably put price tags on those if you think you can get $250 for them.
Listen, if they're not priced, they're free, sir.
Exactly.
That's why I took them.
All of us dads here know if it doesn't have a price on it, it is free. And I was going to say, or you could just move the decimal point over too, and there you go, $2.50. Yeah, free 99,
free 50,
exactly.
Free 50.
Yeah. And Martina says, has anyone tried the auctions on HiBid, ProxyBid? They be having old stuff and newer stuff at times. I have not used either of those.
Yeah, thanks for the good looking out, M. Martinez. Appreciate that.
So
take a look at it.
I know somebody asked earlier if there were any domestic companies that were up and coming in the world of diecast, and I can't really think of any offhand. Greenlight and Auto World, or the Round 2 guys and Greenlight are kind of where it's at right now for non Hot Wheels or diecast or Matchbox premiums.
I don't know who makes Pop Race and Street Weapon, but that's two really upcoming brands that are getting more popular. I don't know where they're from though.
So there is one brand on our side of the globe, but they are in South America. BR Classics is doing 70s British cars, and they're awesome. They're like Tomica limited vintage quality, but they're making them in Brazil. So shout out to Brazil for making diecast.
Nice.
Very cool. All righty. Well, let's see. Another one that I had on my list of things is that customizing is hard and requires a lot of tools. And there's a big myth that I want to bust out there that wheel swaps are not customs, and that you have to actually do work to the body for it to be a custom. And don't listen to those people. As somebody who does relatively advanced customs, I don't care if somebody does a wheel swap and says it's a custom. That's great. They did something. That's more than 99% of collectors do with their cars.
It's true.
Don't be a negative Nancy when it comes to don't be a gatekeeper when it comes to customs. Let people show off their work and encourage them to keep going. We all started somewhere, and Yogi didn't start out with 3 million followers and the most advanced technical builds that most of us have ever seen. He had to start with a drill and a dream, And that's where a lot of us start. So you
Wow.
don't even have to drill in a dream.
A
That should be
drill in a dream.
But yeah,
It's like a movie.
it's just right off the dome there. Drill in a dream.
Well, I beg to differ, Chuck. I would venture to say that your builds are extremely technical and well thought out.
Oh,
I
well,
would
thank
say
you
you're
very much.
extremely advanced.
Well, thank you. I
Mhm.
appreciate that. And
I agree.
but again, a lot of people will look at my videos and go, "Oh, well, you just picked up into that." And I was like, "No, I started building cars when I was like 8 years old."
Right.
And those cars until I was probably 15 or 16 were not good at all. And then when I started doing weathered cars at 15, they were better, but they're still not good. I actually still have my first weathered 124 scale build, and I'm gonna share it one day just to be like, look, this is what I started with, and it is not great. I tried, and from a distance it looks kind of cool. It's a 49 Ford that's kind of an olive drab green that I just got the rattle can army green off the shelf at Walmart, and I painted the car brown, and then I sanded it off, and I sanded off the green till the brown showed through, and it's scratchy, and it's not great, but I tried and I did it. And I wish I had gotten out there sooner and started sharing my stuff, because I think that really has been one of the things that's challenged me to get better, is going, okay, people are actually going to see this, and it's just something that you got to be willing to do and willing to put yourself out there. And that's the biggest myth, I think, is people thinking that I'm going to get made fun of if I share my work and it's not great. And that's not there might be one or two people that do that. And I think the worst thing that anyone said about one of my builds so far was, you need to get a manicure. And they're right. My hands peel. but yeah, even intro builders, I've seen the Facebook groups be incredibly supportive, and really, I'm like, guys, if people don't like your builds, they're just going to move on. They'll say, this is not for me, and move on. They're not going to take the time to insult you, which sounds harsh, but it's true. They're not going to. Most people, if they don't like what you're doing, they'll move on. And by the time you've gotten to where you're doing something interesting to them, then they'll start engaging. And so when you're just getting started, it's okay. Put it out there. Make that jump, because until you start doing that, you're not going to start getting better. And if you wait until you're good enough to be on, then you're never going to be on, because there's always going to be some excuse. There's always going to be some, oh, well, I didn't do this right, or I want to make this better. And you just put that build out there, put that video out there, and the next one you make it 1% better. And you keep doing that, and you do that for 100 videos, and holy cow, will you be amazed at the difference that makes. So but yeah, that's some of the myths that I had written down. Are there any that I'm missing? Any that you guys would like to bring up while we're winding down here?
Yeah, probably one that comes to mind for me is people that think that the diecast community, everyone's out for themselves. So it's like a when you go hunting, you see another person, you can choose to be nice to them and like strike up conversation and be their friends, as opposed to be like trying to have it be a competition who's going to get these cool cars first or grab them and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of like awesome people out there in your community. You just need to kind of meet some people, and they can look out for you, and they can find the cars you're looking for, and you can help find the cars they're looking for. So it's a large community, and it's worldwide, and there's people that are willing to ship you stuff or trade things and just be genuinely nice. And then there's some people out there that their alternatives are not even collecting. It's more so self-interest, and there's always going to be those people in every hobby. But there's, in this community, just with the charity stuff that we do, you can see like how genuine some of these people are and how amazing they are. So there's a large community, a lot of great guys and gals, and don't go into the collecting thinking that everyone's trying to look out for themselves, because it's really not the case. There are those people, but it's more far and few than between than you think it is. So
well said.
Very well said. All right. Well, guys, it has been another hour that has just flown right by. Again, thank you so much to Derek of Honest Diecast for joining us today and bringing some of his friends. This is a wonderful
Derek.
turnout. We've really enjoyed seeing all of these comments and the engagement. You guys have been sharing a lot of great stuff. And we want to thank especially the folks who have been sharing a lot of great stuff, which is their money with us. So shout out to our patrons, especially our executive producer level patrons, Twice Diecast. I know that guy.
Hey,
Donald Rashik, First and 64th Customs, and Video Geek Productions. And of course, all these other fine folks who have agreed to part with some of their income in order to keep this amazing show going. Thank you so much for doing that. And a big shout out to you for making it to the end of another episode. And again, thank you so much, Derek, for being here and being one of those amazing patrons / members. If you want to know more about supporting the show, you can do that over at diecastbreakdown.com, which will take you to our Patreon page, or you can hit the little join button down at the bottom. And while you're down there, you can hit subscribe, like, ring the bell, all that good stuff, so you can see what is coming up next. And we got a lot of great stuff coming up. Again, please go check out drivendreams.org and follow the hashtag DDOG. That's DDOG to learn more about the Diecast Day of Giving, which is coming up this October 14th. And we're going to raise 20,000 cars. And we're going to send them all to Mark's house. No, we are not. We are going to send them to local charities in your area.
Not again.
So be sure to stick around for that and follow all these fine gentlemen's channels. They are down in the description below. And, buy some merch from us. Why not? If you're looking at our channel right now, you should see we've actually got a new merch store. Shout out to Justin Ellis, who's worked very hard to get all of that set up. And again, thank you everyone for being here. And until next time, stay fresh, cheese bags.